Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You are busy. You feel like there is never enough time. You wake up and the day is already full. You go to sleep and you feel like nothing was truly done. Days pass. Weeks pass. And somewhere deep inside you, a quiet voice asks, "Where is my life going?" This is a graded lesson for English learners who want more than words. It is for your mind, your future, and the way you see your time. Today we are going to talk about a man who lived 2,000 years ago. A man who understood something that most people today still cannot see. His name was Seneca. And what he wrote will change the way you look at your life. If you are new here, please subscribe. There is more coming, and you will not want to miss it. Seneca was born around 4 BC in a city called Cordoba in what is now Spain. He grew up in Rome, the most powerful city in the world at that time. He became a writer, a thinker, and one of the most important Stoic philosophers in history. He was also an advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero. He had power. He had money. He had influence. But none of that was what made him great. What made Seneca great was this. He spent his whole life thinking about one question. Not, how do I get more? Not, how do I win? But this, how do I live well? And the answer he found was not what most people expect. He wrote a short book. It is called On the Shortness of Life. It is one of the most important pieces of writing in human history. And the very first idea in that book is this: life is not short. We make it short. Pause for a moment. Read that again in your mind. Life is not short. We make it short. Seneca believed that we are given enough time, more than enough. The problem is not that life is too brief. The problem is that we do not use the time we have. We spill it. We give it away. We trade it for things that do not matter. And then at the end we look back and wonder where it all went. He said this so clearly. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Think about your own life for a moment. Not your work, not your phone, your life. The real one. The one underneath all the noise. When was the last time you felt truly present? When was the last time an hour passed and you thought, yes, that was time well spent? For most people, those moments are rare. And Seneca would not be surprised, because he saw this same thing in Rome, 2,000 years ago. People running from one thing to the next. People filling their days with noise so they did not have to stop and feel how empty things had become. Time is not lost. It is stolen. And you are the one who lets it happen. That is what this lesson is about. Not guilt, not shame, not a list of things you are doing wrong. This lesson is about seeing clearly, because when you see clearly, something shifts inside you. And that shift is the beginning of a different kind of life. Stay with me, because what Seneca discovered is waiting for you. Most people say the same thing. I don't have enough time. They say it in the morning when the alarm goes off. They say it at night when the day is over. They say it to their friends, to their family, to themselves. I don't have enough time. But Seneca said something that stopped people then, and it will stop you now. The problem is never the amount of time. The problem is what you do with it. Here's the truth. You have the same 24 hours as everyone else. The same hours as Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire and still wrote one of the greatest books ever written. The same hours as every person who has ever built something real, loved something deeply, or lived something meaningful. The hours are not the problem. What happens inside those hours is. Think about a normal day. Not a special day, just a regular Tuesday or Wednesday. You wake up. You reach for your phone before your feet touch the floor. You scroll. You check. You read things that will not matter in 5 minutes. You click on something. You forget why you clicked. Another notification, another scroll. And then you look up and 30 minutes are gone, just like that. You scroll, you click, you forget, and another hour is gone. Then comes the commute, or the meetings, or the small tasks that feel urgent but are not important. Lunch is eaten while looking at a screen. The afternoon blurs into the evening. You come home tired. You sit down. You turn on something to watch, not because you chose it, but because you are too empty to choose anything at all. And then it is midnight. And then it is tomorrow. This is not a bad life. It is a common life. But Seneca would say it is a wasted one. Because here is what he understood about time that most people never learn. Seneca wrote about 3 kinds of time: the past, the present, and the future. The past is gone, but it is not useless. You can look back at it. You can learn from it. You can carry its lessons forward. The past, Seneca believed, is the one part of time that truly belongs to you because no one can take it away. The future is uncertain. It may come. It may not. You can plan for it. You can hope for it. But you cannot live in it. Not yet. And the present. The present is the only moment where life actually happens. It is the thinnest sliver of time. It is here for just a breath, and then it becomes the past. Here is the painful part. Most of us live in the future. We think, I will be happy when this project is done. I will rest when the kids are older. I will really start living when things calm down. We are always one step away from the life we actually want. Always almost there, but never quite arriving. Seneca saw this in Rome. He saw men who spent their whole lives preparing to live and then ran out of time before they started. He called them the ones who postponed life, and he said they were the saddest of all. Because the present moment, the only real moment you have, was passing right through their hands. Unnoticed, unused, gone. Time is not lost. It is stolen, and you are the one who lets it happen. The question is not whether you have enough time. The question is whether you are awake enough to use what you already have. Seneca did not just say that people waste time. He went deeper. He looked at the people around him in Rome and he saw patterns. He saw the same kinds of people making the same kinds of mistakes over and over in different clothes, in different houses, with different names. And he gave them categories. He said there are 3 types of people who lose their time without knowing it. 3 types of thieves. But here is the strange part. They are not stealing from others. They are stealing from themselves. The first type is the busy one. You know this person. You may be this person. The busy one is always doing something, always moving, always in the middle of a project, a meeting, a plan. Their schedule is full. Their life looks productive from the outside. People admire how much they do. But Seneca asked a simple question about the busy one: busy doing what exactly, and for whom? Because most of the busyness is not chosen. It is inherited. It is other people's priorities wearing the mask of your own life. The busy one runs all day and arrives nowhere that truly matters to them. The second type is the pleasure seeker. This is the person who uses enjoyment to escape, not real rest, not real joy, but distraction. Another episode, another night out, another scroll through other people's highlight reels. The pleasure seeker is not happy. They are numb. And they stay numb because being numb is easier than being honest about how the time is passing. Stay with me. The third type is the one Seneca found most dangerous of all: the postponer. The postponer doesn't say, I won't do it. He says, I'll do it later. But later never comes. The postponer has a dream. Maybe it is to write something, to travel somewhere, to spend more time with the people they love, to take better care of their body, to finally start that thing they have been thinking about for years. But there is always a reason to wait. Always one more thing to finish first. Always a better time just around the corner. I will start when the kids are in school. I will start when work gets quieter. I will start when I feel ready. And life moves forward. And the corner never comes. It's not about being lazy, it's about being asleep. It's about letting life pass while you wait for the right moment. Seneca was not cruel about this. He did not judge these people, because he understood something important. These three patterns, the busy, the pleasure seeker, the postponer, they do not come from weakness. They come from fear. Fear of silence. Fear of failure. Fear of looking at your life and seeing that something important is missing. So people stay busy instead, or they stay distracted, or they keep waiting for a moment that feels safe enough to begin. But here is what Seneca wanted you to understand. That moment will not come on its own. You have to make it. You have to decide today, not tomorrow, not after that. This is your life. That it belongs to you. That no one else is going to save it for you. Time is not lost. It is stolen, and you are the one who lets it happen. Which one of these three are you? Most people are a little of all three. The question is not which category you fit. The question is whether you are willing to see it clearly. Because that moment of seeing that is where everything changes. There is something strange happening in the world today. Something Seneca could not have predicted but would have recognized immediately. Being busy has become something to be proud of. Listen to people talk. Really listen. I've been so busy lately. There aren't enough hours in the day. I haven't had a moment to breathe. And the person saying this does not look ashamed. They look almost satisfied, as if the fullness of their schedule is proof of the value of their life. Hear me on this. Busyness is not the same as a life well lived. It never was, and it never will be. Seneca watched this in Rome. The most powerful city in the ancient world was also full of people running in circles. Senators attending meetings they did not care about. Merchants rushing from deal to deal with no idea what they were actually building. Wealthy men throwing enormous parties, surrounding themselves with guests and feeling completely alone when the evening ended. He called it negotium, endless activity, endless noise. The kind of life that looks full from the outside but feels hollow on the inside. And 2,000 years later, nothing has changed. Think about your own week. How much of it was truly chosen? How much of it was yours? The morning meeting that could have been a message. The social event you went to because you felt you had to. The tasks you completed for other people's goals, not your own. The hours you filled because silence felt uncomfortable. You came home tired. But tired from what exactly? From living your life, or from performing it for others. Busy people fill their days for others. Free people protect their days for themselves. This is what Seneca meant when he talked about time thieves. He was not just talking about distractions. He was talking about people. The colleague who pulls you into conversations that drain you. The friend who creates drama and expects you to manage it. The family member who makes their emergency your responsibility. The culture that tells you rest is laziness and stillness is waste. These are not small things. They add up. Day after day, hour after hour, they take small pieces of your time. And you give those pieces willingly because saying no feels selfish, because boundaries feel unkind. Because somewhere along the way you learned that your time was less important than other people's comfort. Seneca disagreed, deeply. He believed that protecting your time was not selfishness, it was wisdom. It was respect for yourself, for the life you were given, for the fact that this time right now is the only time you will ever have. Steve Jobs understood this too. He said that your time is limited and spending it living someone else's life is the greatest waste of all. Different century, same truth. If your calendar is full but your heart is empty, if your days are long but your life feels short, if you are always moving but never arriving, Seneca is talking to you. Not with anger, not with judgment, with something much harder to ignore. With compassion. Because he knew how easy it is to fall into this trap. He had fallen into it himself. Power influenced the demands of an emperor who could not be refused. Seneca understood the weight of other people's claims on your time, and he still chose every day that he could to protect some hours for what he called true living. The question he would ask you today is simple. In the last 7 days, how many hours were truly yours? There is a word in Latin that most people have never heard. A word that Seneca returned to again and again in his writing as if it held the answer to everything. The word is otium. It does not translate perfectly into English. That is because English does not quite have the concept. The closest we can get is something like meaningful rest or intentional stillness. But even that does not fully capture it. Otium is not laziness. It is not sitting on the couch with your mind switched off. It is not scrolling. It is not the kind of empty quiet that comes when you have nothing to do and feel guilty about it. Otium is the time you spend becoming more yourself, reading slowly, thinking deeply, living quietly. For Seneca, otium was the highest use of time. Not work, not ambition, not social obligation. The hours spent alone with a book or a thought or a conversation that actually meant something. Those were the hours that built a real life. Now think about this. When was the last time you read something slowly, not to finish it, but to feel it? When was the last time you sat with a thought long enough for it to actually become something? When was the last time silence felt like a gift instead of a problem? For most people, the answer is uncomfortable, because most people have forgotten how to practice otium. They have been taught by school, by work, by the endless noise of modern life that stillness is waste, that if you are not producing, you are falling behind, that rest must be earned, that quiet must be justified. Seneca thought this was one of the great tragedies of human life. Marcus Aurelius understood the same thing. He was the emperor of Rome, one of the most powerful and busy men who ever lived. And yet he wrote Meditations, a private journal not for publication, not for anyone else to read, just for himself. Pages and pages of thinking, questioning, reflecting. He carved out otium in the middle of an empire. And those private hours produced one of the most important books ever written. He did not write it to be famous. He wrote it to be clear, to understand himself, to live better. That is otium. A weak mind calls silence wasting time. A strong mind calls silence the best investment. You do not need to be Marcus Aurelius. You do not need an empire or a leather journal or a private room in a palace. You need 10 minutes, 20 minutes, a walk without your phone, a morning before the noise starts, a single question you sit with long enough to hear the answer. Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius and told him this. Every day, he said, set aside at least a small piece of time for yourself. Not for your work, not for your family, not for the demands of the world. For yourself. for the quiet work of becoming who you actually want to be. This is not selfish. This is the most responsible thing you can do. Because a person who never tends to their own inner life has nothing real to give to anyone else. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and otium is how you fill it. Time is not lost, it is stolen, and you are the one who lets it happen. The good news is this: you can take it back. Not all at once, not dramatically, just quietly. One small piece of time at a time, starting today. So what do you actually do? That is always the question, isn't it? Philosophy is beautiful, ancient wisdom is moving. But at some point you have to close the book and go back to your life. Back to the alarm, back to the inbox, back to the 100 small demands that fill your day before you even have a chance to think. Seneca understood this. He was not a man who lived in a cave. He lived in one of the most demanding cities in the world, advising one of the most dangerous men who ever held power. He knew what it meant to have your time pulled in every direction at once. And still he wrote a letter to his friend Lucilius that began with 4 words that have stayed with people for 2,000 years. Claim yourself for yourself. Not your boss's version of you. Not your family's expectations of you. Not the version of you that says yes to everything and ends up with nothing. Your actual self. The one underneath all the performing. The one that knows quietly what really matters. Let me make this simple. Seneca believed there were a few practices, not complicated ones, not dramatic ones, that could help a person take their time back. Not all at once, but honestly and steadily, day after day. The first one is this: guard your mornings. Seneca wrote that the early hours of the day are the purest. The world has not yet made its demands. The noise has not yet started. In those first quiet minutes, your mind belongs to you more fully than at any other time. Most people give those minutes away immediately, to the phone, to the news, to other people's voices before they have even heard their own. Do not do that. Even 10 minutes of morning silence, a thought, a page of a book, a single honest question you ask yourself can change the quality of everything that follows. The second practice is harder. Choose your people. Seneca was direct about this. He said that some people, when you leave their company, you feel lighter, more alive, more like yourself. And some people, when you leave their company, you feel tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. Look at the people in your life, not with judgment, with honesty. Who gives you energy? Who takes it? Because every hour you spend in draining company is an hour you are not spending on the things and the people and the thoughts that actually make your life feel worth living. This does not mean cutting people off. It means being conscious. It means protecting gently but firmly the time that is truly yours. The third practice is the one David Goggins would agree with even if he would say it much louder than Seneca did. End each day with one honest question. Did I live today? Or did I just survive it? Most people end their day and ask, what did I do today? Strong people ask, did I live today? Or did I just survive it? There is a difference between a day that was spent and a day that was lived. A spent day goes by. A lived day leaves something behind. A feeling, a connection, a step forward. Even a small one, even a quiet one. But something real. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about choosing your life instead of letting life choose for you. If this lesson is speaking to something inside you, subscribe right now. There is more here, and you deserve to hear it. Time is not lost. It is stolen, and you are the one who lets it happen. But you are also the one who can stop it, starting with tomorrow morning, starting with one quiet question at the end of today. In the year 65 AD, a messenger arrived at Seneca's home. He carried an order from the Emperor Nero. Seneca was to take his own life. No trial, no appeal. Just an order delivered quietly to a man who had once been the most powerful advisor in Rome. Seneca received the message calmly. He did not beg, he did not rage. He did not spend his final hours in panic or regret. Instead, he called his closest friends to him. He spoke with them. He comforted them because they were weeping and he was not. He asked for paper and continued writing. He lowered himself into a warm bath, as was the custom, and he waited for the end with the same steadiness he had practiced every day of his life. The people who were there that day wrote about it afterward. They said he seemed almost at peace. How is that possible? How does a man face death without fear? Seneca had an answer for that, too. He had written it years before in a letter to Lucilius. He said that a person who has truly lived does not fear the end of life, because they are not leaving something unlived behind. They have already used their time, really used it. Not perfectly, not without mistake, but honestly, presently, with intention. He was not afraid to die, because he had not been afraid to live. That sentence is worth sitting with. Say it again in your mind. He was not afraid to die because he had not been afraid to live. This is the deepest truth in everything Seneca wrote about time. It is not about productivity. It is not about achievement. It is not about filling your days with impressive things so that others will remember you. It is about this. When your time comes, and it will come for all of us, will you feel that you were here? That you showed up for your own life? That you did not spend your years waiting for a moment that never arrived? That is the question Seneca spent his whole life asking. And it is the question he is asking you now. Seneca's life teaches us that 1. Time is not the enemy. How you spend it is. Every hour is neutral. It becomes meaningful or meaningless based on what you choose to do with it. That choice is always yours. 2. Busyness is not the same as a life well lived. A full schedule and a full life are very different things. One is noise, the other is music. Learn to tell them apart. 3. The present moment is the only time that is truly yours. The past is memory, the future is hope. But right now, this breath, this moment, this is where your life is actually happening. Do not miss it. 4. It is not too late, but it will be if you keep waiting. Seneca did not say time is running out to frighten you. He said it to wake you up. And there is a difference. Fear closes you. Clarity opens you. Let this be clarity. Which of these 4 lessons hit you the hardest? Tell me in the comments below. I read every one. And if someone in your life needs to hear this today, share this video with them. Sometimes the right words at the right moment change everything. Please subscribe if you have not already. There are more lessons coming. Lessons from history, from philosophy, from the lives of people who figured something out that most of us are still searching for. You will not want to miss them. Seneca lived over 2,000 years ago. He wore a different kind of clothes. He walked different streets. He spoke a different language. But he was looking at the same human problem you are facing right now. Time passing. Life moving. And the quiet, persistent question underneath everything. Am I really living this? He spent his whole life trying to answer that question honestly. And now, so can you. Keep listening daily, and your English will grow with your mind. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next one.